It wasn't just the soccer that was a flop in the mid-70s. Town, as desperate as ever for money, put on a pop concert at Leeds Road featuring chart toppers Mud. And fewer than 2,000 sets of tiger feet trod the still hallowed turf. Another summer disappointment was the departure of Alan Gowling. He had arrived at Leeds Road with an England under-23 international cap, and there was no way he was going to play in the 4th Division. Indeed, many were surprised he endured the 3rd. He was leading scorer during each of his 3 seasons at the club.
I was fortunate enough to play for a number of big clubs in my career, but my time at Huddersfield, I feel, was the most important time for me in a personal sense. It helped me to gain a lot of self-confidence, which was definitely needed when I teamed up with Malcolm MacDonald and Frank Worthington in later days.
Gowling joined Newcastle for £70,000. Meanwhile, back in the 4th Division, Tom Johnson had instigated a return to the Blue Shirts, although this time they only lasted for 2 seasons. Terry Gray was leading scorer with 9 goals during this 75-76 campaign, and Town finished 1 place away from promotion. But by the end of the following season, they'd slipped to 9th. The 77-78 campaign was even worse. Town managed 13 home wins, but the travelling diehards only saw 2 victories all season. Town finished 15th, their lowest ever final position. New recruit for the start of the season was right-back Malcolm Brown.
At the time that I went, it was a struggling club. It was, if you like, I mean, the term is bandied around of a sleeping giant, and I think that's what it was at the time. It had a great history, a magnificent ground, but it was getting crowds of something like 1,200 every week at the time, and we're struggling at the base of the 4th Division.
The 78-79 campaign got off to an horrific start, and at one point Town found themselves 1 from bottom of the Football League. Leeds Road had never looked so gloomy.
Gloom is the word, yeah, and it was a gloomy, dour, dull, dank place, really, and it was a place that just needed somebody to go in and really get all of it by jock straps and pull it round, and it was, like I said, it was just a giant waiting.
That job was given to Mick Buxton. After a time as coach and as caretaker manager, he was appointed town boss in October 1978, with the club in a sorry state.
There was training gear left lying around. Dirty balls were being kicked all over the place. With big dirty marks on the walls, and we stopped all sort of things like that. We made sure that they looked after the gear, that they looked after their own boots, that that they took a pride in the club. And then you've got to get the training right. And you've got to look at the players and know what they're capable of doing and give them a chance to see if they can do it, and if they can't do it, get them out and get somebody else in.
The first player Buxton got in was striker Ian Robbins, a £20,000 signing from 3rd Division Bury.
Well, the first few weeks it was, I think Mick had only just taken over, I think, from Mr Johnson, and he was sort of getting things organised, and he got John Hazelden, who started talking to coaching and everything. We started to get a few players together, results started to pick up, so I think that season we finished 9th in the league.
During that 78-79 campaign, a league gate of 1,624 was recorded at Leeds Road, the lowest in Town's history. But the 79-80 campaign would be a whole new ball game, Buxton's first full season in charge.
And it was clear right from the outset he was going to make things happen. He was always very confident that he could get a club, any club, out of the 4th Division. But it's one thing saying it, it's quite another thing actually doing it. But Mick said about it, and of course he did it.
When I look back now, I can see how much he improved me personally as a player, and I think he did that to all the players in turn. In addition to that, he made some good signings, but he moulded us into a team. We had a good balance. We knew what each other's strengths and weaknesses were, and we became quite a force because of that.
By December, Town were lying 3rd in the league and playing an exciting brand of football watched by rapidly increasing numbers. But following a relatively run of 4 games, Buxton decided there was still a piece of the jigsaw to find.
And I thought that we needed another forward. I thought that it would be good if we could really pull a good name, but someone who was going to come to the club and work hard, and someone who would fit in with the rest of the players.
Steve Kindon originally turned Town down, but then came to see a game played at Leeds Road and changed his mind.
I saw the lads, Malcolm Brown, Keith Hanvey, Ian Robbins, that team, beat Rochdale, I think 5-1 or 5-0 on a night game just before Christmas, and that same night I signed for Huddersfield Town.
Buxton's promotion team was now complete.
Kinder had the brawn and the muscle and the speed to get there, and he created a lot of panic in the defence for me to pick up the pieces.
Robbo did very, very well for us. We could play the ball into Robbo, and Robbo could keep hold of it while a lot of people made runs off him.
The most inspiring player in the side was undoubtedly Malcolm Brown.
At the time, playing wide of me was Brian Stanton. I think we blended with each other quite well.
Keith Hanvey is a defender. One of his biggest strengths was he was quick. And Sutty's biggest asset was he was so good in the air. And brave. Daft, I suppose you'd say.
David Cowling was a teammate's delight. He had his failings. He wasn't the bravest. So all you do, you put somebody like Freddie Robinson behind him. You know they're not going to go past Freddie. The ball might go past, the man might go past, but not the two together.
Peter Hart had once led Ian Greaves' youth team, but now he was captain of the senior side, and with Dave Sutton and Malcolm Brown was ever present during the 79-80 campaign. By the end of December, Ian Robbins and Peter Fletcher had scored 26 goals between them, many from set pieces.
Peter started at the near post, at the side of Peter, cross him, Malcolm had played the ball in, and I think must have scored 6, 7, 8 goals from that. Funny enough, we kept thinking that one game somebody would suss us out, and nobody ever sussed us out.
In goes Robbins! And coming from the free kick. Taken short to Brown, and Robbins making a dart across the face of the defenders, a perfect header.
Promotion rivals Lincoln drew level 5 minutes into the second half, and then penalty drama at the other end.
So Kindon with what is effectively Huddersfield's third attempt from the spot.
Keith Hanvey had missed a twice-taken penalty before the break, and he would be first to congratulate his delighted teammate.
Steve Kindon there reflecting, I think, the nerve-wracking aspect of the situation. Forward inventively again. Now Cunningham, and he buries the chance.
2-2 with 15 minutes to go, and Town need both points to sustain their challenge at the top.
I always felt confident, ultimate confidence in the fact that we were going to win the game, no matter who we played against, no matter where we played. Confidence in everybody in the side to do their job and do it well on the day, and that we would just go out and win.
Brown gets a flick, Fletcher!
Tremendous atmosphere, all the boys win it together. It's just a great time from start to finish, really. It was one of those things, I suppose you'd have to say we won it on a laugh all the way through, because after every game we always went out together, always socialised, and I think that was probably one of the major contributors to it as well. But it was just a brilliant experience.
We all felt proud of Huddersfield Town. We wanted to play for Huddersfield Town, the fans, the team, the directors, the manager, ourselves, and it was much happiness.
The main reason I signed for Huddersfield Town was because of Mick Buxton. The second reason I signed was that it was a dormant giant. I mean, I didn't think, honestly, that we would ever achieve what Liverpool and Arsenal and Manchester United could achieve. But certainly the 4th division for Huddersfield Town, what a nonsense.
The headline says it all. A 2-1 win over Scunthorpe sealed promotion, bringing joy to the long-suffering fans.
There was a big crowd there that night, and yet the atmosphere was very quiet, and it was almost as though the crowd were feeling the tension as much as the players on the pitch, if not more.
Ian Robbins scored twice and promotion was assured. But soon, for the 5th and final occasion during the Leeds Road years, Huddersfield Town would be a champion team.
It was pleasing that the lads had worked ever so hard. It was pleasing that the supporters had given us terrific